I mean, there was another great moment also, like when the Vic Mensa album came out, which was the night I met No ID. I also like was standing next to Jay-Z and Beyonce like the whole night. I didn't really talk to them because they had like a guard and shit, but I also was, like I played piano for Vic on the thing, and Beyonce was like 12 feet in front of me, just looking straight at me because I was the only musician in front of her. So
you don't get nervous?
I'm like, yeah, I think I was like pretty drunk for it, which helped. But yeah, yeah, that was a good. I mean, that's just like a crazy moment for sure.
Right.
You know?
That's
Man, who cares, bro? I'm just gonna look at you.
This is my room's a mess.
oh man, ladies and gentlemen, we're back better than ever because we're always getting better. Oh man, shout out to La Gente, you know what I mean? Chelsea Brand.
Always,
Love
bro.
my guy D.
Love my city, bro.
Back
Love
in the messy
everybody
room
there.
here.
Back in the messy room, always.
As always, got like, subscribe,
Comment some great
shit. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh man. I tell you, week in and week out, we're trying to give you the best guests. We're trying to make some amazing things happen, have some amazing convos.
Yeah.
And the guest we have this week is no fucking different. This man's a fucking beast. Oh man, when I was talking to Jason about this dude, I was like, yo, this dude is fucking amazing, bro. This man's background is way different than a lot of artists that are out here in the game.
But
this
it's honestly interesting because I want to see how it like influences like everything else that he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he comes from a different background.
Comes from a classical background, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, this man is a fucking problem. He's a fucking beast. This man has been working. He's been working mad hard,
bro.
Day in and day out.
The connections are just there,
the connection he's been making, the producing he's been doing, the vocals he's been singing, just everything about this man is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I have the utmost honor of introducing my guy, Johan Lenox. What's good, bro? Chilling?
What's going on? I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
Chilling,
what's
man.
up,
Chilling,
bro?
man. Yo, it's like, bro, it's great to see, like, you know, we're out here from Massachusetts and you're from Massachusetts, and like to see like someone from Mass, like you know, like making it, like doing big things, like it gets me excited, man. It hypes me up, you know what I mean? Like you know, I don't know you like personally on that level, but I'm proud of you, bro. Like you're fucking beasting, bro.
Always.
Nah, thank you, man. I mean, yeah, definitely. Born and raised Winchester, Mass. Like I was saying earlier, it's like 15 minutes outside of Boston. So
yeah,
I go back all the time. My family's still there. My girlfriend still lives there. She works in Lawrence at New Balance. So yeah.
Yeah,
you know, but I spend a lot of my time in LA now as well. As I guess we'll talk about.
Are you there right now, or are you?
I'm in LA right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How was it out there, bro?
It's cool. It's I mean, you know, it's not as cold, but
yeah, it's
it was raining yesterday, which was actually unusual for LA. So
yeah, nah, today is freaking cold though. We were like, for some reason I wanted to go eat outside. We went to go eat outside. My hands were like cold as fuck.
Bro, we didn't last like 15 minutes, bro. We went to Break Car out in Saugus, bro. That shit was too fucking cold, man. Yo, a question I have, bro. Let's dive straight into it, bro.
Let's do it.
What is your earliest memories of music in your life? Like, what is the thing where you were like, music is the way I'm going?
Yeah, well, I mean, my parents had a piano in our house when I was growing up, so I think that was like the very beginning. Was just like probably as like a child, just like it was like a toy, you know. So, this makes it sound, you know, and yeah, pretty much from there, just like taught myself piano over like many years of just doing that, you know, and eventually figuring out what didn't sound good and so on. And yeah, and then from there, I mean, yeah, I kind of got into like classical music actually, and got into also like film music. And we used to go to see like the Boston Pops Orchestra doing like John Williams doing like the film scores, like Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park and Star Wars, that type of thing. So yeah, so I basically wanted to be him, and he was like the conductor of that orchestra in Boston. So yeah, I was like, and then I was doing music lessons in Winchester at this Winchester Community Music School, and then at New England Conservatory on Huntington in Boston, and just followed that classical thing straight through all high school. And yeah,
what was like classical music like a calling for you, or was it just like something that you knew, like, oh man, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm interested in doing?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, not a lot of people like classical music, you know what I mean? It's like I listen to it every so often.
I don't think people don't like. I think it's just not appreciated. You know what I mean?
I think it's hard to get into. I have a lot of problems with how the classical world like runs their shit, and you know, I definitely think they could be doing more to, you know, keep people interested in what they're doing. But
Okay.
That's a whole other conversation. But that actually is kind of what led me to what I'm doing now, is that I really want to have that impact on it eventually. But originally, yeah, I mean, it was like, I think just as a kid, I guess I'm lucky. I mean, a lot of people don't get that opportunity, but going to see the orchestra, getting to these film scores, and then seeing the music live on the stage, I was just like, I want to do that. And I was too young to be like, that's like, it wouldn't have even occurred to me that that's like a kind of a weird and unusual thing to want to do. But I just, that was, instead of going, I was like, whatever, 8 or something, instead of being presented with like big rock stars or rap stars or whatever as like a role model, I was presented with this fucking guy waving his arms around from the orchestra. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that shit is crazy though. Like literally, like to see so many people like in unison trying to make like crazy noises, and it's like all over the place, bro. Like I remember in like the 4th grade, I think they took us like on a field trip to go to see the
Nutcracker.
I don't remember what it was, but it was definitely like the orchestra. There was a lot of instruments, a lot of noises. I'm pretty sure it was at the Boston, like the symphony place in Boston, right?
Yeah.
I remember that was the first time I ever held a girl's hand. I was like sitting next to a girl, and I was like holding her hand, bro. And it was like the sounds and everything was just like perfect for that moment. I think that what was crazy about the classical music is just like, it's literally a combination. Like it's like you did the 50, it's like a 50 piece orchestra, right? That's what it is. So that's like 50 different instruments, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're talking about, I did a concert with like Kanye and Beethoven music mashed up. It was called Yeethoven. I've written for orchestra actually quite a bit outside of that, but that one I think was.
I was
like
trying to find them, like
60 piece even.
Yeah, I was trying to find your work that was like outside of that.
Well, Johan Lenox is a stage name, so I would.
No, that's why I was trying. I was trying hard, bro. I need like an FBI or something.
I'll send you some links. It's not that hard. I mean, it is hard, but it's like if you know where to look, you could figure it out. But I have tried to like have a bit of a clean break and just sort of but eventually I'll probably like post some clips and be like,
because I actually like,
fucking
enjoy it. Like, you know what I mean? What I like about like classical music is, well, it's just called classical because it's old, right? That's pretty much it. But like it used to just be music back in the day, or is it always?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, I think that's how most people think of it, but I mean, there is like still a world of like composers that are writing music for orchestras, and the shit doesn't sound old. It sounds very new and different, but it is for those instruments. So I think it's like maybe the traditions around the performing and the instruments and stuff is kind of old. And I think the concert format is really old in that it's like really boring, Like
I mean, unless you enjoy the music, it's not boring.
But it's just really it's hard to like engage with. I mean, it's it's not like everything is so loud now and it just doesn't compete, and and like whatever. Again, like I have a lot of things that I think could sort of update it a bit. But yeah, I mean, the music I was writing was sort of like modern and different and but yeah, definitely the instruments and stuff have this kind of older feeling. But the thing is, there wasn't pop music like 150 years ago because there wasn't records and there wasn't radio. So like
it was like you had to go somewhere to listen to music, right?
Yeah, so you couldn't really have like a gold record. Like you couldn't have a song go all over the country in a recorded form because there wasn't recording. So I mean, but there was like folk music and stuff, and I think probably if you're like in the 1800s in Europe or something, maybe you go to the big city as a special occasion and see the orchestra, but mostly the music you're hearing is like some dude in a pub playing like a guitar or a lute or some shit. And so that was maybe the most common music, was like folky kind of shit.
Yeah, I never really thought of like what happened, like what people were listening to back in the day, like how that all goes into it. Like now everything's like connecting, like people could pop off like this literally one day to another just because like, especially with this TikTok, like TikTok for some reason has been getting people blown up like crazy too.
It's very fast. I mean, those videos are like 15-second long things a lot of times. Just the shorter and faster stuff is, the faster it catches.
Yeah, literally,
it's like the mindless fucking swiping, bro. You know what I mean? Like you just be swiping, you see like a goofy ass video, and then all of a sudden you see like a girl fucking busting it down, and then you see some other shit. You know what I mean? It's just like mindless fucking swiping. And you just
but it is true that it goes crazy though. Like that's what it is. If it hits a trend, bro, everybody's on it like crazy. Like back in the day, like you said, it was 15 seconds, but like some of the symphonies were like 25 minutes long. Like they're literally like you sit there and it's an experience. That's what I was trying to get at before. Was
that's
what like 50.
What do you call it?
It's like a roller coaster, which is funny because the theme park song, like that's actually pretty. That'd be a transition, but I want to talk about this for like the music.
No. I think kind of what like I think of it as like the most similar thing today would be like Cirque du Soleil or something. Like,
yeah, I know. I think I've
like,
seen you say
it's
that
like
on
something that some people like. It's a special occasion, and you fucking get really high maybe, or you take mushrooms or whatever.
Yeah.
Really just like, I'm gonna go see some crazy shit for a few hours, and we're really gonna be open-minded. And it's not gonna be a plot. It's not gonna be words. It's just gonna be a fucking trip.
It's just
and like
boom.
yeah, and you can make really beautiful things in that way. And I think when people have the patience for it, it's really good. And I think classical music could still have that impact on people, but I do think it would have to feel more impactful the way.
Nah, I feel it sometimes.
Nah, I definitely see the vision, bro. Especially through your music. Like, I mean, I see it, bro. I'm a big fan of your music, and I see it like that, like just growing, bro. Going, getting rocket strapped to the fucking world, bro.
Like classical
fucking do it.
Yeah. No, like,
bro,
yeah, like the
With
way
my project,
you're introducing
hopefully,
classical music to the world.
definitely.
then I want to,
yeah, because you definitely keep the music in there, like the classic, like you always hear like those, like the
strings,
like strings, like violin,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
like cello in the background of all of your music, literally all of it. Like you can hear that you still have that like influence in your music for sure. Like I really, what I want to experience is to like be in the middle. You know what I mean? Like you have all the instruments around you, and I'm like just sitting in a chair and then just like listening to all the noise. Like I don't know, it really is like, I feel it like it's like a mountain. Sometimes you're like climbing a mountain, like the music when you listen to it.
Yeah.
It's like climbing a mountain, and then it's like boom, ding, ding, like boom, like the music comes, and then it's like a trip. Like I really like that, and like you keep that in your music too, for sure. Like I feel like if we're talking about the roller coaster, the theme park, like the first one is like a whole like whoo, like you're in a trance, bro. Like literally, I was literally listening to that song like the first time it came up. Like honestly, I was like half paying attention to what I was doing. So then all of a sudden, I just felt like what the hell is going on, bro? And then I was like, wait, what's the noise that's in my ears? And I was like, oh shit, like this is the song. And I was like, wow, this is a whole experience. Like,
well, I definitely like lure you in on it with like on that project. It's like there's more like normal songs, and there's a couple transitions that hint at it, and then it finally goes fully into that.
Yeah, bro,
sound,
for sure. Like
kind of late into the project.
I didn't even notice you. Like now you say that, I definitely noticed that, because there are parts of a song where it's like 3 seconds, it like switches for like 3 seconds, and then it goes back to the normal song. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And there's a couple of those interludes. I don't know if you listen in order, there's like interludes with like my girlfriend talking over.
Yeah.
The one. So it's like those kind of tease it too. And then by the time you're really invested, I'm like, cool, here's like 4 minutes of just ambient like music for you.
That shit is crazy, bro. Like what when you made that, what did it feel like? What, you know what I mean? Like what did it feel like making that?
It was crazy. I mean, I think I just didn't like, that's closer to the kind of stuff I probably was writing. Yeah, I mean, definitely towards the end of when I was just in classical, I was writing stuff like that for live orchestra and shit like that.
So that's instruments making those noises?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about because there's 3 of these. There's
I'm talking about the first one specifically.
On the Everybody's Cool But Me one.
Yeah.
That one's like stretched. I did that with my friend Nate, who I helped me finish the album, and he had this idea of just taking some of the strings that had been recorded for one of the other songs and just stretching them to like 10 times as slow as what they are. So that's how that's made. It's like, and then we kind of just like worked it out together, and I added some vocals and stuff with me going like,
wow.
But yeah, basically it's
crazy.
like,
That's crazy.
it's just super slowed down. Like I mean, you've seen those like videos where they like slow a song down and it's like a vibe,
So like a question I have is like you've written like music for like orchestras, right? So how's that process work? Do you start one instrument, or are you working with like a couple people, or are you just like the paper just looks like a complete mess? Like how's that process going?
I mean, I think that's a great question. I mean, you kind of know what's in the ensemble. I mean, there's like brass, there's like woodwinds, which is like flute, clarinet, and shit, bassoon. There's strings, which is most of the orchestra in terms of numbers, because they have like, it'll be like 20 people playing the same part, because that's just a richer sound. So, and then there's like percussion and piano and a harp and a few other things like that. So I think it's more like, I'm just thinking like, what would be a cool sound texture maybe?
Okay.
Like, oh, what if it was these like brass chords are going like blah, blah, and then there's like, what if there was this like woodwind thing that's going like on top of that? I'm just thinking that, and then I'm like, okay, cool, what would that actually be? And then I probably would write it out. I'd probably write it out as like piano first, knowing that I'm gonna eventually adapt it to this other thing, or maybe just like 2 or 3 lines of music, and then be like, okay, these notes are gonna go on the flutes and the clarinets and whatever, and then I like so that step is called like orchestration. Is literally what the word for it is, like figuring out what in the orchestra is going to play what, but you don't.
Wow.
And you could start on the 25 or 30, lines of music, and sometimes I do that, but sometimes it's like nice to do what they call it, like a short score, which is just like put it on like 8 lines and just be like strings, brass. I'll figure out which strings and which brass exactly later, but I just generally this is what it's going to be, and this is what's going to be, and you can kind of see it more easily. And then later I go through in detail and expand it out to the final. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. That's like a
crazy.
whole process.
That's a crazy. How long does that usually take?
Orchestra takes a while. I mean, I've also, if you write like just piano music, that's pretty fast. If you write just string quartet music, but I think there's kind of 2 aspects to it. One is sort of like figuring out what you want to do, because it's a lot more open-ended than like, if I write a song, it's like, does the chorus bang? Like, does the 808 hit? It's like, you kind of know what the things are that, and there's like things you can get creative with, like the lyrics and the melodies, but overall, like a song structure is pretty locked in. Like there's, most songs have a roughly similar kind of approach to them. With the classical stuff, and especially now, like modern classical, it's kind of anything you could possibly think of that you want to do, which means that it just takes a while to figure out like what the scope of what the thing is going to be. And like sometimes it's like you get an idea and you realize like you write it a certain way, and then you realize like 2/3 of that sucks, but this one part is actually by far the best thing, and you rewrite the whole thing around that.
Yeah.
Like, for that, so that type of thing is like, go ahead.
Oh no, my fault. I was gonna say it's like processing like fucking your thoughts at the same time as trying to like, you know what I mean, like fucking be the captain of this ship of all these instruments.
That's a lot. Like you have to think about all that music, right? Literally everything, and then you're just like, all right, this is how it's gonna. I have to write it down. Like you speak music, right? That's kind of what it is.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. Like a question that I have like from that is that like somebody like Beethoven, right? He was deaf. So how could he be like? How did he do that? Like how did he do what you just said while being deaf? Like that shit's crazy.
I mean, he wasn't born deaf, so I mean, I think he had like years of experience doing it before he went deaf, so I think that probably helped. But he, I mean, if he had been deaf his whole life, I'm not really sure what he'd be looking.
Yeah, that's
sounds like. So it's like, what would he be trying to do there? But I think because, I mean, I can like write, like I can hear a melody in my head, right? Like if I tell you like how to like "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey go, it's like you can probably put that melody in your head or something, and like. So it's like, you can kind of expand, if you're good at piano, you can kind of imagine like, all right, if I play this chord, I kind of know what the chord's going to sound like before I play it. You just kind of think about it that way. It's just like, you can hear something in your head without having to hear it out loud. And of course, like I have the benefit of like a computer program where like I write the sheet music out and then it can like play it back. It sounds like ass, but I can at least get a sense of what it's supposed to be. I mean, but of course back then it would have just been on paper, which I can do, but like way slower. And you don't have the benefit of anybody like playing it back. You just look at it on the thing and just hear it in your head and be like, yeah, that'll hopefully be good. And then, you hear it.
That's some crazy shit. Like music theory. I know I had one of my bosses that like before I worked for him, like he was like learned music theory because he played guitar. And like he was trying to explain it to me, and there was like, like the, all the different beats and how everything's broken down, and the different like, the minors and the majors and all that. And I was just like, that's a lot, bro. Like that's a lot of information.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's just like learning a language or whatever, and it definitely has been like years of study and like I said, having gone to music school, and like on weekends when I was in high school and shit, and just trying to like, it took a long time. But I think the best part of it is like, because people actually ask me how to get into that sometimes. And it's like it's a different world to try to get into. But I do think for people that want to do it, like if you have friends that play those instruments, like someone that plays a violin or some shit. For it, or someone that plays the piano, and just learning how to write for them and being like, yo, play this. Is this like, does this work or not? And then they're like, yeah, it works. Oh, it sounds good. Oh, but if you wrote this way, it'd be even better, right? And you're like, okay, cool. Now I get it. I'm writing. It's like, because if I produce a song, when I'm done, it's done. Maybe get it mixed or whatever. But if you write a piece of music for classical instruments, like when I'm done, it's just sheet music, and then there's other musicians who are going to play it, and they're a whole part of it. They're the ones actually making the music. I'm just giving them like the recipe, so it's like a lot of it is about just like working with them and knowing how to communicate to them through written notes and stuff. So
but when it sounds good, it sounds good. That shit, like it's like
so something that is coming to my head is like, so we went to Chelsea High, and I feel like, I don't know, like there was like band and stuff, but I felt like I don't know, like I don't know what did, like I love music, you feel me, and like a lot of instruments obviously play music, but like what is that like? Oh no, that's goofy. Why are we gonna be in band? You know what I mean? Like that stigma,
like
bro. Like I don't know what the fuck that is.
The band nerds. I think there's even like movies about making fun of people in bands.
I'm thinking like shit. I should have fucking learned how to play piano and shit.
Yeah, I wish I could play an instrument. To be honest, that's just like awesome. Like whatever instrument you can play is still like an impressive to be able to make, you know, like a melody and like a whole vibe just from your instrument or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely not like rewarded at a young age. Like it doesn't make you cool, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I work with a lot of guys who like learned how to play piano in church or whatever, and like that's a different. I don't know if maybe that's seen as cooler, you know. But like, it's the same thing. You're still a music nerd, and then like, but then you come out and you like, you know, you're in a session and someone wants you to play something nasty on a song, and you can do it, and it's like, you know, I didn't.
And then all of a sudden you get all the attention, bro.
For real, that's true.
Yeah, facts, yeah.
That's the world, bro. People be like, I feel like, I don't know, people like make fun of shit, and then and then when it's like when people like master it, it's all of a sudden fucking
like, wow, congrats, yo, wow, that's so awesome.
Like for example, like you call like fucking kids that like love science and shit, oh, you fucking nerd, you know what I mean? Like when you're like little, you fucking nerd, and then all of a sudden, like everyone wants to see like
Elon. Now everybody, Elon Musk.
Bro. Oh yeah, everyone's looking up to Elon, bro.
Elon Musk, bro, is the best in the whole world.
He's clearly a nerd, but it just, you know, now he's a billionaire nerd.
Yeah. Like that's when it's cool, is when when people got money, bro. That's
what is that? Is that like,
then everyone loves it? Yeah.
That's judging someone? What is that?
What do you mean?
What is that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I know what you're saying.
I just feel like it's just society being like goofy, bro.
It is goofy.
Like it's just like I feel like it's just like something like, oh, I can't play an instrument, so I'm gonna look down on this person because they're doing some cool ass shit, and I like subconsciously or like even in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, I wish I could play that song, but I can't. So fuck him. He's a nerd. Hey, everyone, he's a nerd.
I will say though, like I did have, and I think it helped a lot steer me in that direction. Was like my parents were like saw that I was trying to get into this classical shit out of having seen this concert or whatever, but all the way through my path, like I did have people who thought it was cool, but they just weren't they weren't mainly the people I went to high school with. It was like,
oh, okay.
If you think about it, it's like I went to that concert, right? The concert's full. He gets a standing ovation at the end. That actually looks pretty cool. It doesn't really occur to me that everybody in the audience is like 50, but you know, whatever. I can but, you know, I'm like, okay, he's up on a fucking stage playing this orchestra shit. He's got 80 people playing his music and this audience going crazy for it. Like that seems hard as fuck. Okay, so I've got that, and then once I'm in like the school programs and I started doing like summer classical music, like literally that band camp shit you're making fun of, like straight up that, but it was like classical. I went to Western Mass, this shit called Tanglewood, where it was just, you know, orchestra kids hanging out. And among those kids, again, like they thought I was cool because we're all doing this shit, you know? And so I became friends with those people too. And I had my friends in high school who were kind of like aware that I was like, oh, he's like this music genius. And they were cool about it, but it wasn't really their thing. But then I had this other community that I started like becoming a part of through these summer programs and this weekend stuff. Okay. So I did have like peers that were like, you know, and we were just like DMing on, you know, talking about music and shit, just staying in touch that way while I'm, you know, in school with the kids that I went to school with. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think if I didn't have that, I think I probably also wouldn't have stuck with it. But I had people that were my friends who were, and they were cool kids. I mean, they were music nerds, but they were like, you know, they were also like chill and whatever, and like, so I
think that's what it is. I think we as a society as a whole, we classify people for whatever that one thing is, you know what I mean? Like for example, I don't know, like let's say it's like, oh, like Johan, bro, you know you do classical music, so you're like a music guy. Oh, we're podcasters, we do podcast things, you know what I mean? Oh, you're a soccer player, you play soccer, but we're fucking humans and we do other shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I watch the fucking Patriots and I'm fucking excited. You know, Bill Belichick's making all these fucking moves. And, you know what I'm saying? Like I do a whole bunch of other shit. The same way I'm assuming you do other shit. You know what I mean? You have other interests. So I think that's what it is. We box people into whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. And I've always been the music kid and I never minded that. But then I think also because I did want to be cool and shit in my school. There was music stuff like in my high school. There was this like a cappella singing group that was like performed at all the like pep rallies and did all that other shit. And they were like, people actually thought they were kind of cool, like relatively speaking. And so like I obviously did that, even though that's a bit different from my interests. It was still, that was the coolest music thing I could do in my school. So I was just like, well, I'm going to do that, you know? And so I think even now, I mean, like my interest in getting classical music out to like the normal people that don't necessarily fuck with it that much is partly motivated by that, like the peers that I went to high school with wanting to do something that I think they would, in my mind, even though I'm not with both of them anymore, like, you know, that I'm still imagining, would they fuck with this or not, you know?
Yeah.
The peer pressure shit actually, I think, goes a really long way.
Yeah, I got a quote from your Instagram. It says, my dream is to make classical music relevant in pop culture through immersive and all-encompassing experiences. So like that's an amazing goal to achieve, and I definitely see it through your music. So like, what's like, all right, step one, right? You getting into the industry, right? Step two, I believe you said you want to be like a pop star or something. I think that's the right words you said.
Oh yeah.
What's what's the steps that you're going through now? Like, how are you still trying to achieve that dream?
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to actually start to do some of the things that I was talking about there with, like, I mean, that concert Yeethoven, like with the Kanye and Beethoven music.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Like that's I don't think that's the answer, but it was like proof to me that because the thing was sold the fuck out and we turned like 1,000 people away at the doors.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah,
like, bro, that's like Yeezus like is a crazy album, like in itself, bro. Like literally in itself, because it's so many different sounds, and it's like it was so
especially for the time, it was so different. What is that, 2013, 2012?
Yeah, 2013 when it came out.
It was just so fucking different to whatever the fuck was playing at the time.
Like just the noise, like the actual sounds in it are so completely different than anything you ever hear. Then to make it with like all those instruments, bro, that shit, I was like, wow. Like when I listened to the I Am a God version of that, like I was just like, wow, this is fucking, that's some crazy shit, bro. That's like, I don't even know, like what came, like, could you just talk about that whole experience? Like what the hell was that, bro? That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that was I mean, that was actually one of these friends that I had met in Boston doing classical music. He grew up in Lexington. He literally, you know, so I like his dad was one of the music teachers at this music school. And so we stayed in touch, and then he went on, just stayed in classical. His name's Yuga Kohler, and he you know, 10 years later, whatever, is like conducting an orchestra professionally. There's like young people's orchestras, like, you know, 20-year-olds kind of or something. And that was in LA. And he hit me up, and I hadn't talked to him in a while. And he was just like, yo, I want to do the concert around like Kanye music somehow. I don't really know what that would be. And then we kind of figured it out together, and I composed like the arrangements, and then he like conducted the orchestra. And yeah, it just, I mean, the concert was just us trying to figure out like, why do we, coming from this classical background, because I had known a lot of classical people that were fans of Yeezus, you know, from when it had just come out. And so we were just like, how can we do a concert that like shows why we think this is, you know, great, or, you know, interesting or different, you know what I mean? And like why in some ways it seems more similar to like classical music than it does to hip hop music. And so we were just like, well, maybe we can just like put it on this stage alongside Beethoven and kind of make these comparisons. And we picked like pairs of stuff to go like, check it out. And the Beethoven, now hear it in the Kanye, same idea. We try to find things that had similar like approaches or whatever. And then we did a little talking too. It's kind of like a mini TED talk, almost like just a few sentences here and there, just telling people what was about to happen. And it was crazy. Yeah. I mean, the concert did great. We did twice in LA and once in New York at Lincoln Center, which is like the big classical hall there. And yeah, it was like, I mean, it was really like viral thing too. Like obviously people, you know, we like made a video and people seeing like Beethoven and Kanye on a video.
Yeah, anything Kanye is gonna kind of, you know.
We kind of knew, but yeah, I mean, it definitely was a bigger, it went crazier than we thought it would, for sure. And then that actually is how I started getting, like, I was already out here trying to do production and singing and all that type of stuff, but that concert was definitely something that put me on with certain like with Mike Dean, who introduced me to Kanye and put me on Astroworld, you know, and with with like someone who introduced me to Vic Mensa, which is how I met No ID, and producer, you know, and then
that's crazy,
like Big Sean. So it's like I had some connections, but I think having that concert was a big like, whoa, this kid's doing some crazy shit. How can we get him in the mix? Or whatever?
I mean, you were doing some crazy. You were and are doing some crazy shit already, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is crazy to just like. You came from like the same place, like right down the city, like you're right there, bro, in the same place. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I wish I would have known. Like it took us until, you know, we found out about your music to even find out about that. Like that's a whole crazy experience. And that was awesome, bro. Literally, I thought it was different, bro. Literally the Yeezus being so different to then mix it with that was literally, I don't even know how you guys tried. We're like, yeah, that's a good idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
worked.
I think I'm also like in a position where like a lot of like, not even on account of like being like good at music, but just the fact that I have enough experience in both the classical world now and the like world of hip hop and pop music. I think there are very few people who probably could have done that concert and would have known what to do with it or even wanted to do it. So I feel like that was also part of it for me. It was just like, and
right
I think
place,
that
right
kind of goes.
You're like best equipped for that,
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean, and I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about that quote from my Instagram, which is like, the reason I decided to get into hip hop and pop music was because I want to build a platform for myself so I can do these bigger things with classical way down the line, like not right now. But I think a side effect of that I didn't expect was that I've actually already been able to start to do some of these things just because I have a foot in both worlds now, and people on both sides are very curious about the other, and like I'm able to make the connection, and I got.
Damn,
I've got other plans for similar things like that. Yeah.
I could see the vision, bro. Literally, I feel like just you, like I saw it in your eyes, bro. The vision came to my head when you were just looking at me, like how it's all gonna work out. Like literally, like one of the things that I think, another thing that boosted you up is like that song that you just released with Cousin Stiz, bro. Like that song is really good. I really enjoy that song for like many reasons, but like that's like I feel like one of those steps getting into that culture. Like I had already listened to Cousin Stiz. Like
I was a big Stiz fan.
Like he's from Boston, like he's from the same area as us too. Like he makes good music and he makes hip hop music, which is obviously like the biggest, type of music out in the world right now. At least in the US, right?
Yeah.
Like probably like the biggest type of music. So
well,
like
I wanted that. Yeah, I wanted that song out as the first song off my upcoming album because we're both from Boston. I mean, that was like I really wanted to lead with like we're both from Boston, like it's like this is
like I literally got the like I have notifications on whenever Cousin Stiz posted. I seen it, I was like, yo, and then I heard it and I was like, oh man, and then I started going through fucking all your music, bro, and then fucking there's songs like Pretender, bro. Oh man, that hit me deep. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've been that guy, bro, lying and fucking I love you, baby, and then you're just doing it for the box, bro.
It's sad but true. But yeah, I'm actually gonna release. I think I'm still figuring out how this is gonna work, but I think before the album actually comes out, I might release like a really quick tape that's just a bunch of those songs that I've like redone the vocals and kind of including Pretender. Like I feel like I've like updated how I sing a bit and some stuff in my music, and I just want like better versions of the songs out there because I think they're good songs and I like the writing, but I just want to get the mix a little bit different, get the singing a little bit different. So I've been working on those too. I'm gonna just kind of literally just drop it all
bro, I'm excited. That's because those are all good songs. Like that whole album is really good. The next album is really good too. You just like got really good music. But real quick, going back to that song, like one of the things that I think is funny is that like what you say in the song I feel like doesn't match who you really are. Like you're like saying that everybody running through the little mazes. I don't mind being aimless, but like you already got all these visions and everything like this. Like I'm gonna do this for classical music, change the world, get people to like this. So like
I know what you're saying. I mean, I think like the whole album's gonna be kind of on that tip, but I think there's like different sides to it though. It's like I am like doing well in music, and I do have like this career vision for my life, and like. I'm pretty happy, but it is just like I'm trying to speak to just an overall mood that I feel and that I think a lot of people feel, which is just that like the vision of like growing up, getting a wife and a kid and a white picket fence and a house. Like I don't see that shit in the near future for me or any of my friends. And I feel like that is more what I'm talking about with it, of just this feeling of aimlessness. Like it's like people just kind of, it's like I feel like you see like people in their 30s just like playing video games and shit. It's just like that's cool and that's different, but it didn't used to be that way. You know what I mean? It's like people used to just be like, all right, now I'm an adult, and now it's just kind of like we're just kind of be kids forever. Or like what exactly, Like, and so that's really what it's possible about. Maybe that's okay, and I'm not really trying to come down on either side of it. But the whole album's literally called "What Do You Want to Be When You Grow Up?" And the whole thing, like, am I actually trying to like just looking around and being like, are we supposed to be like growing up yet, or like what does that even mean, or like
wow,
I'm just confused about it. So that's more what I was saying by it.
No, I think I mean that I kind of
resonates with us, bro. We always say we're little kids, bro.
That's from something like, bro, I literally say all the time that I literally don't even feel like life is real sometimes. Like I'm just like here doing stuff, right? But it's just like I don't know why. I kind of just because I can, I guess, right? You know, like right, we're doing this. Like I'm trying to graduate right now. I'm trying to do, you know, a bunch of different things to try to progress my life. But like there'll be times where I just like it's like it made me laugh because I felt the same. I feel the same way. It's like a duality of me sometimes where I'm like sometimes I'm like yeah I'm working hard like yeah what like I'm doing this shit and then I'll be like but why, you know what I mean, like there's no reason for me to even be trying to you know running through those little mazes like you say, bro. Like it's kind of funny because it's like I'm building this whole vision for myself and I'm trying to like that vision is like a maze now I just built for myself to try to like get through like and create that vision, make it real in real life. And I'm just like, bro, like it was funny. I was listening to that song. I was just like, bro, that shit spoke to me. Like really, like I was like, damn, bro, this man is thinking, but like, because you just want to live, like, you know, life is just life. And it's, at the end of the day, you just want to enjoy it. So I really like that song for that reason.
I appreciate that.
I just feel like there's a lot of like, I don't know. Let me collect my thoughts. There's just a lot of like I feel like in the past there was a lot of structure. You got to leave the house at 18. You got to have kids by 25. You got to be married by 30. You know what I mean? There's not. I feel like there's not those structures no more. Like where people could be successful in anything they want to do. Like for example, the video games. Like, yo, them dudes are making mad money. Like Twitch streaming and shit.
Like even like basketball players are doing it. Like football players are doing it just because they can make money and they just you just live life and enjoy that shit, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's because like for example, right? This podcast, like I love doing it, right? This is like I always say, what is it? Like my unwritten notebook, right? This is like my diary. I'm just expressing myself. And then I have people like you know, amazing people like you that fucking teach me some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Or like just have great convos. And it's just like, bro, I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like I'm not rigid. You know what I mean? I'm not, oh, I gotta get married at this age and this now. I'm just kind of like floating through life, like letting it happen, just piquing my interest. If I like it, I'll do it. If I don't, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? That's just
I think that's freeing. It's like I think it's a good thing probably for everybody, but it is also just like without that structure that used to be there, it is like, well, what it's just harder to know like what the goal is or what you know?
I
there's so many options out in life. Like I mean, luckily for you found something that you love, right? You always love classical music. Now you now you're making your own music, right? And you already had the connections because of what you did before. Now you know you're just like stepping, right? You're just stepping, like you got already what you want to do. But there's some people that like they get stuck with that idea that like what am I gonna do, and then they just like never end up doing nothing because they're just
it's their influence, bro. It's also like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like our parents are like generations before us, so it's like, oh, you gotta be this, you gotta do that, you gotta, you know what I mean? And those ideas over time are just instilled in you, so it's hard to like unteach yourself some shit. You know what I mean? It's like having a habit. Like for example, like biting my nails, that was like one of the hardest things I ever had to do, but it's like a mental thing. Like, you know what I mean? I never noticed that I was like eating my fucking nails, like, you know what I mean? But like I had to literally tell myself, like, yo, stop fucking eating your nails like every day. And now, like, these shits are fucking too long, bro.
now you don't never cut them shits.
Yeah. But that's just how it is, bro. I feel like it's hard, bro, to unteach shit that that people have taught you your whole fucking life, bro.
I think that's true.
Especially in a world where we're just trying to float and live and cool it.
Well, I think there's also like these like bigger ideas of just like the American dream and shit, and like just what adulthood's supposed to look like, and what, all that stuff, which I think the album's going to be kind of like questioning, like, are these things even real, or like am I just fucking up, or are we all just fucking up, or is like, or is it impossible now, or like, you know. No, I definitely have structure in my life coming from music, but it is also true, like, you know, I wake up hungover on a lot of weekdays, you know. It's like that's if I want to cancel all my shit and start my day at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, I can do that, which is great.
Damn, bro.
But like,
see,
you
that's
gotta
the
make
life
sure
I
you
want to
don't.
live.
It's great, but it's like it can be dark because you gotta like kind of make sure you don't do that more than, you know, maybe every so often if someone, you know, this is a really crazy night or something, but you really don't want to like get in the habit of that. And so it's on you to kind of just impose this structure.
Because then you're not progressing. You're not going forward.
Yeah, you got to motivate yourself to do shit. And I think that's true with a lot of people. I mean, everyone's got like freelance jobs, just doing like Uber Eats and shit. Like that's your job. So then you have to decide to force yourself to clock in. You know, it's like, again, it's like nobody's telling you what to do. It's just, that's again what I'm talking about with like aimless is just like, you know, there is no that structure. So yeah, that's a good question. I'm
So I have another quote from your Instagram. It says, with every song, I'm just trying to tell the story of growing up in America today in the most cinematic and monumental way possible. So like will you dive into things like in your music, like social issues, or like will you stay away from that? Like, you know, like I don't know.
I mean, I'm not singing about like Trump and shit, but I definitely am like what you're just talking about. Like the like American dream is dead. Like I definitely, you know, like or is it? Like I sing about that shit. And I mean, it's already in the songs you've heard. I mean, there's probably a couple more that are like, but it's more general. Like I'm trying to think of a good line. Like I heard something about how people like our age buy more like house plants than people did before, and they have less pets. Just an average in the country. Just like the consumption of house plants is up because people can't take care of a pet because their like schedules are too like random and they just can't handle that kind of responsibility. And I was talking to somebody else who was saying, I feel like I've even like read a thing that's saying like, a lot of people don't want to have kids because they like don't see the world as like being in a good place right now. And they're like,
that's crazy, bro.
That is crazy.
It's the same thing. It's like so I put that in a song. Like I was just like there's a line about how like you come home at night and it's like all your plants are dead and you're glad you didn't get a dog because it's like clearly the responsibility that it takes to,
that's a bar. That's a bar, bro. That's really good. That kind of reminds me of the movie Fight Club. You ever watch that movie?
Yeah, it's good. I like that movie. I think that actually is definitely on the same topic.
Yeah, that movie is like you know how he comes home and he's like, yo, he wanted to buy all this stuff for his apartment to furnish it, and then like you know. Kind of, I feel like that kind of like the whole idea of the Fight Club is kind of like the aimlessness, you know, they're just fighting and shit, you know, that's definitely like, I love that movie because of that same idea is just, it's a weird idea because it's true. And it's like you said, it could be dark. Like sometimes you might just like be not giving a fuck so hard that you just like fuck your whole self up. Right.
But you see that all the time.
Yeah, and it happens. Like how many artists have been like top of the world, and then all of a sudden their career comes crashing down because they just, you know, they got stuck on some drug or whatever, like kind of shit out there. Like it's just crazy, and it's just like the human experience is fucking weird. Like that shit is just like we literally
right now
we're born,
especially right now, right? We were fucking locked in our houses for some time.
Yeah.
I wrote most of these songs before that happened too, but it is just like it's only become clearer that everything I'm saying was definitely like it's, you know, those problems aren't getting better yet. Maybe.
I think as time passes by, the more we get the chance to like really reflect on life and you know have all these options to like maybe even relax and get stuff like that, is where it's going to be more and more like easier to see like, yo, this shit is weird, bro. Like imagine in 100 years, like imagine the people in Wall-E, you know how they're just sitting chilling in those chairs, bro. Like what do you think they're thinking about in life, bro? They're literally just sitting in chairs and relaxing, bro. You know what I mean? All of a sudden
I think that movie was made so like we won't get to that point. You feel me?
I fucking love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really? Yeah, that movie's fucking crazy. I remember the first time I watched it, it was like third grade. They had it and everybody set it up, you know, in the band room. That movie is like that. Why do you like it so much?
We're talking about Wall-E, right? I mean, it's just like, I think it's like a really good vision for the future. Like I think not like positive, but like realistic, almost like the way. I mean, a big part of it I remember was the way there's like the one corporate logo on every single product in store, and it's all like it's just like the Walmart.
That's Amazon.
It's Amazon. And they didn't even, Amazon wasn't even like that at the time. It wasn't like this completely all controlling thing, but it is just like, like when it's just like one company that's like deciding what the fuck happens, then it's like things don't, you know, they don't progress in a good way necessarily. So I thought that was good. And I thought, I mean, also just coming from like what we were talking about earlier with like Cirque du Soleil and these like big immersive things, like I'm interested in like really successful entertainment that like doesn't have any words in it, because that is what classical music would have to be, or at least the orchestral stuff that I'm excited about. So like Cirque du Soleil doesn't have any words, like the movie Fantasia doesn't have any words, and Wall-E for the first half of the movie doesn't have any words either. They're just walking around. It's the entire thing. It's just the story's just told on like visually, which
and like the noises and stuff,
music and sound, right? So it's like,
I didn't know those shits were trash piles, bro, until I watched that shit like 2 months ago. Like when I was a little kid, I didn't know them shits were trash piles. Like, bro, I just thought it was just cool and like living in a dirty ass world. And then I didn't know that all that shit was trash, bro. And then when I saw it again, like 2 months late, like 2 months ago, I was like, wow, how the fuck did I miss that one? You know what I mean? Like, what the
There's
fuck?
a lot of detail, but it's definitely all just about like us being like wasteful as shit, I guess. But I mean, I'm not like a hardcore, like I'm not gonna be like throwing like save the whales in my songs and shit, but it's like it's clear that we're like not on a sustainable path just in general, and I try to just capture that vibe, I guess, on some level.
Yeah,
I just
not
hanging out, you know.
I mean, I don't know. I think just like with music, like I feel like a lot of music, you know, I feel like music is very influential. So I mean, if you're like, you know what I mean, giving like those vibes and stuff, I feel like it'll come across. Like, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
The same way how you're if you give like fucking, I don't know what the vibe would be, but like negative vibes, then people are gonna start doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's
I have if you've watched the videos, actually the videos for all the songs on the Cancel the Party EP were all just shot in and around like the suburbs, like where I grew up in Boston, or outside. I should say not in Boston, because you guys know the difference, but you know, outside of Boston. But there's a lot of shots of American flags, because you know, obviously that's true everywhere in America, but I was just, anytime I was in like, you know, Medford and saw like an American flag, just like get the American flag on the camera. They put it in the video because I just want everyone to be like, this is America, you know. That's even before there was, well, I guess it was around the same time that song "This Is America" came out, but just that idea of like, I want people to get that that's part of it.
I wanted to speak on your visuals, bro. Like, bro, the videos that you have are fucking, bro, they're mad crazy. Like, trying to think of the song. Oh man, it just escaped my mind. But it's like pretty much, it's like a fucking spotlight on some red Solo cups. Yeah. And then like there's these girls like on some tricycles, bro. And I'm like, yo, that's a fucking crazy ass visual. And then you're just playing some crazy ass music on the back. I was like, bro, and I was telling Jason in the car when we were driving over here, I was like, bro, what's the process of coming up with these crazy ass concept videos? Because that's just cool as shit.
Thanks. I mean, yeah, there's been like a few different approaches. Like the first like 2 EPs, whatever, the last two, I got Cancel the Party and Everybody's Cool with Me. Like those videos are all just trying to be like the suburban party vibe that I'm just, you know, like what I remember from high school and shit, which is really what I was like trying to sing. It was really just started as me wanting to sing about that. Just capture like the nostalgia for like being in the burbs in mass and just like
smoking in the woods, bro.
Smoking in the woods. I mean, that's what we did. And our, you know, it's called the Fells in our town. It's like extensive across a few towns. There's a reservoir in it. We swim in the reservoir, get high in the woods. And so I was just like, I gotta write about that. So I was just starting from that point. And so the videos are just trying to just capture that world and helps, you know. So like all the Everybody's Cool with Me ones are like indoors, I think, except there's one where we're on a car for a song called 15.
But I think the last one too, for the theme park one, you're walking outside.
Yeah. So then the next one, the Cancel the Party EP, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there was that moment, I think. But so the next one, the Cancel the Party EP, we like flew back and cast people in like in mass and just did the whole, it was like kids who go to like mass art and shit and filmed all that stuff. And so again, I was just trying to be like, I just wanted to be more like outdoors, because I feel like I was missing that from the Everybody's Cool with Me videos. And I just feel like my memory of the suburbs was just like walking around in the woods and in the streets and like, you know, hanging outside is just such a big part of it that is different from, I don't know, I guess depending on where you grow up, it just feels like that was a huge part of it for me that I feel nostalgic for. So I just really wanted to capture that. And then I did these like 3 singles that were not on a project that came out last summer. And those are the ones where I just went like completely abstract with it. And I just wanted to kind of try to do something that was just felt like purely like, you know what like installation art is? Like you go to like a museum and it's like, instead of like a painting on the wall or a sculpture, it's like they've like done some shit to an entire room and you just go into the room.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I was thinking, yeah, exactly. And like we've talked already about like I'm clearly obsessed with like immersive shit in general. So sure. I basically with those videos just wanted to feel like to make it feel like that kind of world, and just think like, I think partly just thinking about like, because the classical instrumentation is such a big part of these songs, that I was like, it's cool. There's like a contrast between this like really like high art classical sounding violin shit in the music and then this like broke kids running around the suburbs. Like that's a contrast. Obviously it's like, you know, it's like the most high and then the most like kind of like just down, like chill, normal kind of shit. And I think I was trying to see what would happen if the visuals were also just like all the way up to to 10 in terms of like abstract art, crazy, like, you know, monumental, like I said, shit. And I think so that was kind of what that was. And then I think for the album videos, I'm going to try to like kind of combine the 2 worlds a bit. Okay. And just sort of like, I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it yet, but I filmed a ton of me just like dicking around in and around Boston over the, like when I was there through like a lot of last year, and, you know, during a quarantine shit. And then I think I did that footage on like an iPhone, so it's very like the way I did the Stiz video.
Yeah.
So it's like that, just really just as real, as raw as possible. And then I'm thinking I'm gonna have these videos that actually cut between that and then the most abstract, monumental shit with the live string players in the room and with whatever guest artists.
That'd be fucking sick,
That's
bro.
cool shit.
So it's just so it's just literally like, yeah, I know it's like two different worlds that I'm bringing together, and here's both of them, like, you know, just so you really get that kind of thing. And hopefully that
both of them just like in your face, bro. Like, yo, bro, I'm telling you, bro. Like, cause like, you know, we've talked about like getting into like film and things like that, and I'm just like, yo, like I be looking at yours, and I be getting inspired. Like, yo, I want to do like some big ass fucking, you know what I mean, like crazy concepts for like the messy room or something.
It like grabs your attention because it's like so like what the fuck.
Yeah, like look at our fucking painting. We try to make it as abstract as possible.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Hey,
thank you.
Yeah, like
Alyssa Beltran.
Alyssa Beltran. Yeah, she went to my high school. I was like, make it as fucking colorful and fucking just all over the place as possible. But make sure you put a pizza box because this fucking dude loves his pizza. Make sure you put the flag because I'm Puerto Rican.
Cat, bro.
Oh yeah, and the fucking cat because my cat's fucking like
I fucking love that.
And he's huge.
Yeah. So a question I got for you is so you said, you know, you're talking about all the suburbs. So me and Vic, we didn't grow up in the suburbs. We grew up in Chelsea, which is like a city, you know, so like like a lot of Hispanic people and everything like that. So the experience is probably like really different. You know, for us, we definitely see that some people like just, you know, believe that, you know, they're Chelsea, you know what I mean? They take that as an identity that you're a small city and then you don't deserve more than what the city has to offer for you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. We call it the small city
mentality.
Yeah, the small city mentality where people just think that, you know, I deserve this because I was born here and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, out in the suburbs, like I didn't grow up there. I'm kind of interested. Like, what is there kind of like a mindset kind of like that or something?
The big thing that I remember people talking about a lot was the feeling that we like live in a bubble and this isn't the real world. Like I remember people talked about that a lot because it is just this like pretty suburban town with the, you know, the fences and the houses and shit, and people just being like,
you know, like the white picket fence life.
A little bit. And I just remember people being like, yeah, a little bit of that. And I just remember people being like, just always being like, man, this isn't the real world and nothing happens here. It's so boring. This is like just this weird bubble where nothing happens, you know? It's like there's no movie theater in town. There's no fucking, you know, everything closes at 9. There's no, you know, like we got a Burger King and it was like the biggest deal ever. You know?
Really?
Like,
what the fuck?
Like so fucking, it was like just a really quiet ass town where like we didn't, you know, my parents were like, we don't want Burger King here. That shit's gonna be like ugly and there's gonna be all this traffic from the next door, you know, towns and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's just like very different. It was not nothing really happened. But I think that was also part of what I tried to get into with the music was like, why are we going to the woods to get high? Whatever, like why are we like trying to get into these like shenanigans? And I mean, I think a lot of young kids can relate to this, but definitely the feeling of like, well, there's nothing to do, so we got to just come up with shit to do. And and you really just walking around exploring the fucking town and the woods and shit. I think it's like a big part of that for me.
Yeah, we didn't smoke in the woods. We smoked on the park benches.
The park benches.
That was what we did, bro.
Behind the buildings, bro, and shit. I mean, I didn't.
In parking lots, bro.
I was like in college, but yeah.
But there's a lot of different vibes in Mass, and I mean, I think like part of why I really liked having Stiz on Phases was because like his perspective is really different from mine. You know, like we grew up 20 minutes away from each other, but like we're in 25 minutes, whatever. You know, like it's really like two different worlds, and I feel like that comes through in the way he kind of talks about it. You know, he's not like I'm being like everybody's going through their phases like fuck it, like I'm just you know, they're dicking around and I don't even like but they're like, I think what I'm kind of talking about in that song too is like people, because sometimes it feels like people that are well off, like they like make random changes in their life just because they can, rather than fixing like the underlying issues as to why they're not, you know, stoked about what's happening. You know, it's just like, well, maybe if I just like take a trip real quick, or like, you know, maybe if I like move
buy this car,
or or go back to school and out, you know, whatever, just like to get a degree I don't need or what. It's just like, it's like cool, yeah, you know, you could. I mean, you know, obviously those things can make sense in the right time or place, but I feel like the song for me was partly just me being like, they're all like going through these like phases and I'm just chilling, and that was like part of a difference I was trying to draw too. But then I really like that Stiz's verse is kind of neither. He's kind of just like, well, I don't really have like necessarily that. Like it's less like about like having the luxury of just digging around and more just like focusing on getting the bag.
Yeah, that's literally how it is. It's like, you gotta get it. or you're gonna like, or that's it. Your life
Yeah,
is
yeah.
done.
But
Like
I think
that's
that's
kind of like,
yeah, and I like it because it makes my part sound kind of stupid, which I
yeah.
like. I think it's like
It's
I'm
like it's like the it's kind of
it's
like
like
a
I have
mirror.
my
It's
point,
that
but then I undercut it, and I'm like, well, maybe that's just dumb as shit, and I want people to be able to see both sides.
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the both sides that you keep talking about. Like you're bringing two worlds together, and it just meshes so well.
I think you're really good at doing that, bro. It's just bringing two
Thanks.
things that shouldn't be together, put it together.
Nah,
and
not
like,
shouldn't, but just
like
like
no,
you
it
don't
doesn't
see
no,
it
for
seem.
sure.
Yeah,
together.
it doesn't seem like
You don't
it should
see
be
it
Didn't
together.
work, yeah.
Because obviously they
Yeah, I
belong
definitely-
together, bro.
Yeah, I definitely noticed like
Oh,
the
no.
song is crazy. Like it's a whole experience. Like you know, we've been saying like you know,
Yeah.
you always got music that is an experience. Like you're just starting off the song, and then the drum, like the bass comes in and everything. It's like a whole experience. And then having Stiz come on, it was just crazy. Like I actually want to ask you, like, how was it working with Stiz? Is like he a cool, like he's funny as
great.
fuck. Like
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
birthday was yesterday too.
Yeah.
His birthday was just past yesterday. Like he's a funny ass dude. Like I would
he's
love
like
to have him on.
he's like a legend, bro.
Yeah. Like at least for us, right?
Yeah, at least for us, right?
Yeah.
Because like
no, of course. I mean, again, that's why did I put him as the first single off the album, was because I really wanted to make it people clear that like being from Mass was like the first thing I wanted people to know about me before I get into hopefully some of these other big artists I've worked on are gonna hop on songs, but I wanted to start with that one for sure. And yeah, I mean, so I had worked with him on his latest album, was like Trying to Find My Next Thrill from
Yeah, that's a really good album, bro.
So I did like similar stuff that I've done like a lot of other big artists, is like a lot of times if you listen in a song and you hear like strings in the outro of the song or like this vocal kind of choir sounding textures, whatever, like that's sort of my thing, is that I like come in on these records that are like mostly done, and like I can make full beats and I do it for myself a lot, but with other artists I like to do these things that only I can do, that I know like these really like orchestral kind of sounds, where it's like I know that I'm bringing something special. I know they're gonna keep calling me to come do it because it
makes you an asset, bro.
Yeah, you are.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
So I did that on like 3 or 4 songs on that album, like Traumatized and a bunch of other I mean, just if anything you hear that sounds like what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That. So I worked with him on that, and we had met before because I've known his manager Tim for like a few years, and I'd known like Michael Christmas for a while.
Yeah, Mike Christmas, another one, bro. I love that dude, bro.
Yeah, so I had worked with him a while back. I know like like OG Swagger Dick, like Marquise. He's part of that group. Oh man, he's the funniest. He was on the Eric Andre show this past year, but he's part of that same group of friends too.
Okay.
Check out,
literally
OG Swagger Dick. I mean, he's like funny, like
Swagger Dick, like literally Swagger Dick.
Swagger Dick, bro.
Okay.
Indeed, yeah. Marquise.
I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, so he's fucking great, by the way. But yeah, like he was on the Eric Andre show, just like rapping, like literally this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I had known some of those guys. Like I met a couple of them in New York actually, and then when I moved to LA, got more in with them a bit, and then kind of started doing I got busy with like the Yeethoven and some of this other shit, and then kind of got back in with like I would see Tim around, and then like I think I started working with this dude Aziz the Sheikh, who's from around maybe he's actually from New Hampshire technically, but he works with a lot of people that are like from Brockton and stuff. So he's out here, and they all work, like all these Boston dudes and Massachusetts dudes work in the same like studio in Burbank, California, which is like hilarious. So I go there and it'll be like Lil Rich, who's like producing the Stiz album, and Aziz is coming in after, and like this dude Khalif, who has like 2 Grammys, I think, for being like, he does like Afrobeat shit, who's from around Boston as well, and like just sort of got back in with them a bit, and just was like, let me get on some of this Stiz shit too, if I can help with any of that. And so I did, and then once I had done it, and this is how I work a lot of times, it's like I'm less interested in, like, I like producing, but I'm not trying to be a producer. I'm trying to be an artist, which I'm glad we're talking about the artist shit. And so often if I'm producing for another artist, what I'm really interested in is like, can I get you on a song? Or can I get on this as a singer?
Oh yeah.
Or could we, like, I'm just being honest. Yeah. Or like, could maybe we can go on tour together, whatever. Like, I'm trying to build relationships on that side of things too. It's not purely just about like, let me get paid for using my beats or whatever. So as soon as I had done that stuff, I was just like, look, I don't want money for this. Let me just like get a verse with you down. And I played the song. He was like, definitely. So yeah, it was like super easy. So that was literally what happened. Yeah. I mean, it's like, and that's actually what's kind of happening. And I can't even say yet who a couple of the other people are on the album, but there's gonna be a couple bigger names. But that's all. It's all people that I've like worked with and worked for, you know, done stuff for them, and they respect me from that side of things. And I'm like, yo, by the way, here's like some of my shit. And they're like, oh, it's hard, you know, like let me get on that or whatever. And it's a trade, you know.
Yeah. So damn, so when is your album expected to come out?
I don't have a date right now. I mean, this summer is kind of like it's basically done, but I do have to lock in these features, and then I gotta shoot a couple videos, and that's why I said I'll probably do a couple things before then to just kind of keep stuff coming out to keep people, you know, on what I'm doing. But and then there's like, I mean, the music business is like, you know, like there's like label shit. I'm like leaving my label. I'm probably gonna go to a different label, but I'm not sure exactly what that's gonna be yet. So I'm just sort of like, you know, just to plan all the pieces and make sure this shit really goes properly crazy.
Chess, I know you're playing chess, bro. Fucking talking to lawyers and shit. I'm assuming.
You get people that do that shit for you, but I gotta let them do their job. So, you know, it slows things down a bit, but it'll be worth it. But I
feel like that gives you more time, right? To like create, or no, am I bullshitting that?
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably just make the next album while I'm waiting for this one to come out. To be honest with you. But and like I'm still like, you know, every day I'm working on different people's other albums and shit. You know, last year I was on the Big Sean album, the Ty Dolla $ign album, the St. John album, on the upcoming Brockhampton album, if you know them. So there's always like that takes time too, and I try to keep up with that world. So
out of all those like artists that you've worked with, out of all the like the studio sessions you've been in, like what like is probably like your most memorable? Like out of all of them, they're all nasty, you know what I mean? Like what is the like your favorite one? Well, I don't want to say favorite, and I don't like what's like the one that's more memorable to you?
I mean, definitely meeting Kanye after all this shit was pretty crazy, and like it was very brief working with him. Like I would have to, if I ran into him, I'd have to explain to him who I am now, I think. But I did do some stuff on these. But he would be like, oh yeah, cool, yeah. So, but I did some stuff on these 2 albums. He did like 5 albums in 5 weeks.
Yeah. During that whole time,
it was like, was it Nas?
So the Nas and
his own
Pusha, his own Kid Cudi, right?
Yeah, and then
Pusha and Tiana Taylor. So the Tiana and the Nas ones were the last 2, and that was I like all the orchestration and like strings and then a bunch of like vocal choir texture shit on those 2 albums is me. But yeah, that was nuts. And I mean, it really came full circle because we didn't cover this point, but I put it in every bio I ever write, so people probably know it by now, which is that like in addition to just wanting to build this bigger platform for me with classical, a big factor in getting me from the world of classical into the hip hop shit that I'm into now was hearing My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy while I was tripping on acid at in Winchester. So
I love how you're so honest about it. You're just straight up with it. Like, yo, I was tripping on acid listening to this shit, and then they changed my life, bro.
That shit's a beautiful album. I'm telling you.
That album changed my life, and then a few years later, doing that Yeethoven concert put me in with a bunch. That's when the ball started rolling with a lot of this production work I'm doing now. And then finally, like a year or 2 after that,
your life is like a movie, bro.
Yeah, it was wild. So that, definitely that was like the culmination of a lot for me. But in terms of like personal relationships, I mean, definitely like Big Sean is someone who I just like. He's just super fucking nice, and it was just like really cool because I actually like got to know him a bit more than I like. Like I didn't really get to know Kanye. I just kind of met him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was just like a one-time thing.
I was gonna ask,
it was like
Kanye,
literally just over a couple of weeks, like talked to him on the phone a few times, met him in person a couple times.
Okay. I was gonna ask, like, is Kanye like how he is on, you know, like unpredictable in person, or is he just like chilling? Because like I seen
very
like
chilling when I met him. He was very like almost shy, I would say.
Oh, really?
I think you can kind of see it if you watch interviews of him that he kind of goes between the like the hyper like active kind of mode and then this like very like thoughtful, quiet kind of, you know.
That's funny because I seen like
that was what he was on.
Like Jay-Z was like, oh, Kanye's fucking the same person. Like he was like, Kanye was standing on the table like, I'm gonna be the best fucking artist of Chicago and shit. So I thought that's how he was 24/7. You know what I mean? Like I thought he was like
he's definitely
yelling at you, fucking spitting lyrics.
I think he's like that a lot for sure. I didn't really see him in that mode when I was. Yeah, he was very like. I think he was also kind of burnt out because it was like
he was working
20,000 albums.
Like I think
he was working, bro, for sure.
I can't speak to. Yeah, I mean, it was tight though. And then and so I don't know. I guess that's probably the craziest thing. I mean, there was another great moment also, like when the Vic Mensa album came out, which was the night I met No ID. I also like was standing next to Jay-Z and Beyonce like the whole night. but I didn't really talk to them because they had like a garden shit. But I was like, I played piano for Vic on the thing, and Beyonce was like 12 feet in front of me, just looking straight at me because I was the only musician in front of her. So
you don't get nervous?
I'm like, yeah, I think I was like pretty drunk for it, which helped. But yeah, yeah, that was a good. I mean, that's just like a crazy moment for sure.
Right.
You know?
That's
Damn,
funny, bro.
dude.
I'm fucking. I would have been, bro. I see Beyonce, Jay-Z. I would have been frozen on the piano,
real,
bro. Everyone would
bro.
have been like,
It's
"What the fuck is
wild.
going on?"
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Honestly, like, do you ever like get like truly like, have you ever been like starstruck? Like, you're like, oh shit.
That
Like,
was one of the two that I mentioned were probably like Big Sean was actually kind of the opposite of that. He was really just like so nice and normal and so welcoming that it was very easy to not feel that way.
Yeah.
But like you just felt like you were talking to someone that was like your friend, you know.
Yeah.
With Kanye, I was just really starstruck because like that is just the person that is why I got
That
into this
brought
shit,
you
I
into the
think.
game, bro.
Yeah, so I just think I was like a little bit just like, oh my god, you know, but it was cool. But then yeah, definitely Jay and Beyonce. That's probably one of the only times I've ever just been like, that's not even like that's not even
for it, that's something like that I had to feel like like not even real, bro. It's like that. You just gotta be feeling like, what the fuck? It's just really going on. Like that's
it was
going on.
definitely that, yeah. And I had never really seen it. Like, I don't know. I feel like people visit LA sometimes, and now they like are like, yo, I'm in town, like listening, and like I meet up with them, and they're like, yo, I saw like Coldplay, Chris Martin yesterday at the bar. I saw like, you know, Brad Pitt that walking. You know, it's just like I feel like maybe these people are going to these really like trendy celebrity places to try to see celebrities or some shit while they're here, but I never do that shit. So I really don't like. I think that was the first time I'd ever been even that close to someone like that. You know, was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I just like
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could like see celebrities. Like I've
There's
never
just
like
so
obviously
many,
we're from Mass.
No,
Like
I've met a few.
honestly, we were talking about that earlier today. That it's kind of like for some reason Mass is just like that place where like, you know, LA and New York are places where you can pop off quick because it's like, you know, they're known places that there's a lot of people that you can work with that are like, you know, big and you can make it fast or whatever if you go to LA and shit like that. But like Massachusetts, I feel like we got a lot of like talent right here. Like you're from Mass, Cousin Stiz, like, you know, like tons of actors that already like Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon, people like that. There's other like, you know, us.
Relax yourself.
All those, you know, there's a lot of still big, you know, things. Like I feel like there's a lot of talent here, but still there's no way for us to grow fast in Massachusetts for some reason. Like, do you feel like
it's
that's
hard?
true?
I mean, I think it's easier than ever with like we were talking about at the beginning, like the internet and TikTok and all that shit. Like you probably could go viral from anywhere almost.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, but like once somebody goes big on TikTok, they move to LA. Like if they weren't there before, they do after, you know, like influencers and like musicians and shit. Like you get signed, your label's like, yeah, you should be in LA because like then you can do sessions and work with other people, and like that's where everybody is. And like, you know, if you want to go into national politics, you got to go to DC. And if you want to fucking be a banker, I mean, I guess, you know, you can do it anywhere, but like if you really want to be on Wall Street, you got to go to New York. And if you want, you know, it's like every industry has cities where this shit happens. And it's true, like there's definitely a big music scene in like Atlanta and like Nashville, so it's not just LA, but even those places, and even New York, like who are the big artists and producers that still work in New York? Like there's a couple, but like pretty much like most of the ones I knew already moved to LA too. And it's just like once everyone's here, it just becomes a self-fulfilling thing of just like, well, you want to collaborate with people, like you got to be where the people are, you know, a little bit. But I would like for it to be more. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool if it was more popping in Boston. I mean, I could definitely see like, I'm not really that interested in being in LA, to be totally honest. Like, I don't really care about LA as a place. I'm just here because
good, bro. Good. Massachusetts strong, bro. Come on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like, I really like probably will eventually just move back full time to you know, probably some more rural part of Massachusetts where I can just live in the fucking woods and, you know, like in the Western Mass.
The only problem is it's cold. That's literally the only that if you don't like the cold, that's the only problem.
Yeah, so maybe I spend the winters here and, you know, summers in Mass. I mean, you know, I spent all last summer in Mass, and I literally was staying in Back Bay, and I was just like, this is fucking nice. Like, it's I never really spent time in Back Bay like that, you know, other than just like go.
Yeah, that's true. Like I've never been like
it's fucking beautiful. Like it's just, you know, like it was great. You know what I mean? When the weather's nice. So yeah.
I mean, you could be a tourist in your own city. Like, you ever done the duck tour in Boston? Like, that shit's
Yeah, I did. We did
like,
that
that
shit in like
shit's actually pretty
grade.
sick, bro. And you know, but like, you're never ever a tourist in your own city. That's what it is, bro. Like, we live.
And going to so many
How long does it
parades and
take on the
shit.
bus to get to Boston, bro? Literally like 10 minutes
But
from Chelsea?
with no
Like,
traffic, it's like
10 minutes, bro. You just take a bus, you could be
You
there.
can take the MBTA train from my town. I'm on the Lowell line, and like literally, you can walk 3 minutes from my house, get on the train, and be in Boston 12 minutes later. So yeah, it's like, you know, so I always was able to do that. But it's like, you know, I wasn't going out to bars and shit if I'm like in middle school or whatever. Obviously, like, you know, sadly for me. And you know, and I wasn't even really going to shows that much because I was like going to classical shit, you know, because I was just like in that world and really not that focused on like the rap or pop world or whatever at the time. So I feel like I did on some level miss out on the experience of just being in the city of Boston. And it's been really cool to go back now and just be like, oh shit, this is actually great, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm from here, but I feel like Matt's got some fire flavor out here. We got some sauce, bro.
Definitely. There's a lot here.
Like
I was asking him like, how are we gonna make Mass that place, bro, where it's gonna be like LA?
Yeah.
Like what?
Maybe I can come back and try to set some shit up. I mean, I still have like there's this studio that this dude named Roy, he calls it Spare Monkey Studio. It's right off of Harvard Square. I still like there's this artist Black Bear. I did the strings on his album, I literally tracked those strings. I tracked those strings in Harvard Square at this dude's studio, like because that's where I was when they needed it, you know. So it's like I definitely am aware of like what, you know, what the options are when I come back, and I'd love to honestly be spending more time, especially as my shit hopefully starts to pop more, that I can like where I have some value I can really contribute by like
then people will come to you, bro.
Yeah,
like out here, bro.
Bring them.
I would love that. And then, because again, like I said, I really have no desire to spend any more time in LA than I need to. Like right now, I feel like I'm really in the middle of a bunch of shit that is good that's happening, but it's like eventually I'll get to a place hopefully where I don't need that. I don't, you know, eventually it's like after 10 years of this shit,
skyrocket, bro. Like,
bro. I always say rocket strap and rocket to the moon.
Fucking Post Malone lives in like, I'm pretty sure he lives in like a ranch in Utah now. Like he doesn't give a shit about being in LA.
I mean, he's like one of the biggest artists in the world. Like he doesn't even care where he is.
Kanye got a house in Wyoming. Like folks don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, that's how
Dave Chappelle in Ohio.
Yeah,
exactly. So I definitely think, in the long run, I'll probably be back and spending more time than I do already. But you know, even last year, I mean, quarantine made it easier, really. Like I definitely spent like a huge chunk of last year back with family and my girlfriend and shit. And so, and we've been long distance this whole time. She's been in Boston the whole time, so I'm constantly going back and forth with that.
Damn. You know? How does she feel about that?
She's cool. I mean, she like she's, you know, we've been that way the whole time, and it's you know, like I get a lot of free New Balance sneakers because she works there, so that's hard. And she comes out here.
I've seen those in your videos, bro. Those shits are fire.
Yeah,
bro.
we got them to clear that. Balance? They're great, you know. And so we definitely get, you know, it's tough, but like she comes out here a lot. With quarantine, she's just been out here the last few months and stuff. And then we went back together. Like I filmed a lot of that Phases video and like Wall Fam while we were there together. Like she just shot that shit on the phone, so it was cool. You know? But I guess we'll see what happens after quarantine ends. But for now, it's like, it's cool. I mean, it's an excuse to go back to, which I like, you know, and see my family and shit. So basically, it's just,
definitely. So something I wanted to bring up. I just thought it was like entertaining and funny, bro. You try drinks, bro, on YouTube, bro.
Oh yeah. I know. Those are funny. I was gonna make it a whole thing, and then I kind of just like gave up on it because I just felt like they weren't like I felt like I had to film them nicer for them to really be good.
I feel like that's what made it funny. There's one where you're like I forgot what you're cooking the Throwback Thursday drink. And and you're just like, fuck it, bro. I'm just shaking in this shit. Like, bro, so like a question I have just like mad random is like, yo, what's like a fire drink, bro, that me and Jason have to try as soon as possible, bro, because it's a force, bro, and it's like one of your favorites or something?
That's a good question. Well, there's this shit called the Negroni. I mean, you know what that is? That's kind of a classic cocktail. It's gin, sweet vermouth, and this shit called Campari. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like bright red, but it's really bitter. But that's kind of like what I get into is these bitter drinks kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but they got like a lot of like herbal flavors and shit, but it's just like a lot of alcohol too. And I mean, that's like on the fancy tip. I mean, there's this distiller in Boston called Bully Boy, and they make some really good like spirits and shit. I would definitely check their shit out. They have these like bitter, it's like bitters and soda in a can. It's called I'm trying to, and this is like a popular thing that all these places are doing. That shit's delicious. Yeah, Amaro soda. Yeah. So AMARO. I guess it's called the Amaro Spritz, actually.
Amaro Spritz. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like lame as hell, but it's great. It's kind of, it's sort of like in the same world as like root beer or ginger ale, but it's like a little more complex. It's very bitter and it's alcoholic, so
yeah.
Get onto that shit maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you might have to go to like like it's easy to find in the city of Boston, but you'd have to like it's probably not going to be in like the gas station liquor store. You'd have to go to one that's like a little more douchey than that.
That's Amaro, right? That you're talking about Amaro still?
Amaro, yeah. So this is like they took their own Amaro and then just made like a fizzy drink with it.
Okay. So is it like a beer? Is it like it has alcohol in it, right?
Yeah, it's about that. Maybe a little more alcoholic than a beer, but yeah. But it's a bit more like, I don't know, the flavor's like a little different, but yeah, you got to try it.
Yeah.
But Bully Boy's great, so I definitely put them on because they're from Boston, and there's a bunch of distillers in Boston though.
Talking about some stuff from Boston, bro. You ever had a Down East?
Yeah. What the fuck is that again?
It's like a cider. It's like a cider.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Dumb shits are crazy.
I'm gonna recognize the label as soon as I see it. Oh yeah, of course. I see it's fucking everywhere.
Dumb shits are crazy, bro. They're straight.
There's great beer too.
It's because I feel like I stick to the same shit: tequila, bro, Coronas, beer, you know what I mean, beers and fucking Downies.
That is.
There's a lot of great like breweries and shit. If you're into beer, I mean, obviously there's like tons of places in Mass. I mean, there's one called Lord Hobo.
Lord Hobo. I'm going there.
That's
a good name, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, they're fucking great. There's like an Everett one too. I'm trying to remember. Night Shift, I think.
Night Shift.
Okay.
Yeah, and these places have like places you can just go drink and try all the beers and shit. Yeah, Night Shift. I think they have two. I think they have a location that's like right under the Zakim Bridge, actually, like right at the start of it. Let me just.
Know what the Zakim is?
Yes, I know what the Zakim is.
That's the one with the fucking. With the big.
You know what the Zakim is? You don't even drive.
I know what the Zakim is.
I just feel like it's like they tried to make it like the icon of Boston because it's like it like is big looking, but it's like it's extremely pointless. Like there's already two bridges on either side of it going the same way.
Literally, bro. There's no point.
I mean, the park under the Zakim is pretty cool, bro. That's where
I like that. Yeah. So I feel like that those would be some recommendations, I guess.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try some stuff. I'm telling you, I stick to the same shit every fucking time. It's
all
always like, what do you want to drink?
Down East.
You already know, bro.
Down East and tequila.
Yeah, tequila, bro. Johan, man. This has been an amazing episode. I'm glad I got to talk to you, bro. I'm telling you, big fan of your music. Bro, ladies and gentlemen, you got to
guy one, bro. I'm telling you, the classical music is gonna rise, bro, with the way you're doing it, bro. I really keep it in the music. Like if you're really listening, it's still in there. Like all like that, you can tell that that's still the influence that you get. So I'm happy that you're trying to do that because that's like I enjoy it myself. So I'm happy that maybe it'll get big and maybe we'll be going to the Boston Symphony Hall and we'll be listening to Johan Lenox.
You fucking chilling,
dude.
Bro.
Absolutely. Let's fucking get it.
Yeah, man. So, it's been a pleasure having you on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you fucking don't think this dude's fucking cool as shit by having this conversation, then you fucking clearly don't know nothing. You know what I mean? You clearly are fucking just, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. But, appreciate you for being on, man.
Thank you, man. Let me come back when the album's out.
Oh, let's fucking do it, bro.
Let's do it.
That's one thing we love to do. Bring, like, guests back. See, like, it's like an update of the conversation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened?
Because especially because I feel like the first time sometimes it's a little awkward. Like, we're still getting to know each other. Over time we'll just keep having conversations. It'll get easier and we'll get, even better conversations.
When you drop merch, I promise you, I'll buy 3 sweaters, bro. I don't care, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna get on that soon, I think. I got some ideas.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Definitely, bro. Like the way, bro, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, he's a fucking piece. But let's do your thing.
Let's get into the messy moment.
Messy moment. Messy moment. Messy moment.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, what the fuck did I tell you? This was an amazing conversation with my guy Johan. Oh man, we're in the messy moment. Messy moment is a time when we can reflect and we dive into this amazing fucking podcast, this amazing conversation that we had with Johan. Oh man, I'm amazed, bro. I'm amazed. My messy moment is just my overall experience, just talking to you, bro. Thank you again for coming on the show. With every week in and week out, you know, you guys don't know this, but I get a little nervous, you know, because I'm like, oh man, I want the conversation to fucking be cool and fucking, you know, I want to bring up the best questions, and then, bro, just your energy, bro, you were just chilling, bro. It made me relax, and I was like, oh, I don't, you know what I mean? Because usually I'm fucking clenching my phone, like waiting for like the next question. This time I was just chilling, relaxing, bro, and just having a great time, learning some new stuff, you know, getting to meet you, and it was awesome, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for taking the time to be in the messy room. I think that's just my messy moment, bro. Yeah.
Boom.
Beautiful.
Right. So I'll go next. I think my messy moment is just being able to you know, talk and like see the energy that he gives off when that Johan gives off when he talks about classical music and what he wants to do for it. Because it's not, you know, it's rare. Like I enjoy it myself. Like I like to listen to, you know, the symphonies, the orchestras and all that, because it's just a whole vibe, a whole experience. You literally go through, it goes up, it goes down, it goes left, it goes right, and you're just enjoying it. And he's trying to bring it back to the light because he feels what he feels, and I can see when he speaks
level, bro.
on a monumental level, exactly, doing some crazy bullshit. Like it's gonna be crazy, bro. I could already see it, and you know, it's to be able to see him talk about it and like you know, really understand how he truly feels about it makes me, you know, I'm like yo, I respect it, bro. That's some awesome shit. So, you know, thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking with us, bro. It was an awesome time. I learned a lot about, you know, classical music itself. I learned a lot about you. I love being able to break down music with an artist, you know, because like we got to talk about some of your own songs that were really good. And it's awesome that we get to, you know, when I'm like, oh, I have a question about this song, to be able to be like, hey, yo, why'd you do this in the song, and get the response, like that shit's awesome. So thank you for being, you know, transparent with it. And yo, real quick, let them know where to find you, bro, so that they can.
I'm at Johan Lenox on everything. So yeah, JOHAN LENOX. I actually picked that name because Lenox, Mass is where I used to do this summer shit. So that's
okay.
Whereas like Ari Lennox spells it with 2, but Lenox, Mass is with 1 N. So LENOX is how.
Boom. There we go.
And and I got Phases featuring Cousin Stiz out right now, and then a couple more singles coming for this album, and then album this summer, and hopefully
boom crazy. And then the rest,
don't fucking slack, ladies and gentlemen. If you ain't
through
listening
the roof,
to that,
bro, through the
we
roof.
don't know on dogs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get into your messy moment if you can, please.
Oh yeah, and I just enjoyed. I mean, the whole thing was great, and I like how it was extended too. I think, yeah. Now that I get that you like to do the really long, next time we'll do the real marathon.
Yeah.
Because it's good because you can get into more stuff that way. And I mean, yeah, obviously I'm used to talking about the music stuff because I talk about it a lot. But I appreciate that you asked me about the liquor because most people don't ask me that, and I enjoyed talking about that. And I definitely putting the good folks at Bully Boy on because maybe I'm gonna try to get that sponsorship maybe now that I'm such a fan of that shit, and I think it's just cool that they're local. So yeah.
Boom.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta like, subscribe, and comment some great shit. It's the end of the show. It's the saddest time of the day. Jason, don't start crying, bro. You gotta relax.
Chill, bro. I already got the tissues right there.
Check you later.
Check you later. Say check you later, bro.
Oh, check you later. I'm bad.
I appreciate you, bro. For real.